I want to go over the best method to attack the derogatory items that are on your credit reports right now. When I mean derogatory items, I mean things like late payments, I mean things like collections, charge-offs, any inaccuracies. Because under FCRA, once we have our rights to access our credit reports, we also have the right to dispute and to challenge anything that is inaccurate. These are the things that are going to be weighing down our credit profile, and that's going to be the barrier between you and the credit cards and the funding that you're trying to get. Let's go over the multiple options that you have to attack these problems, and I'm also going to show you what I'm using now in my business with my clients. Now let's go over this line by line. You know the type of things that most lenders are going to ask for. Once they pull your credit profile, what are they going to look at as a positive? What are they going to look at as a negative? And what are the type of things that are going to get you denials instead of approvals? A lot of you guys have already noticed you actually need to be in the 700s to really start tapping into a lot of these credit card approvals and funding. It was a little bit easier a couple years ago, but these banks are tightening. No lates and no collections, especially within 24 months. We already know at this point, everything on our credit profiles that are more recent. A late in the last 6 months is going to weigh down on your credit profile way more than a late on a 4-year-old credit card. We can start challenging the credit bureaus and getting those derogatory negative items removed off of your credit reports. That's essentially what the whole credit repair industry is. Now, I'm going to tell you the different ways and the different options that you have, and then I'm going to give you my opinion on what I think is the very best way who's trying to remove those derogatory items. What would I do? So option number one, this is kind of the old school traditional way. And what I mean by that is when you go online and you download a dispute letter. I offer dispute letters. There are dispute letters in my course. You can probably go on Facebook and see dozens and dozens of, credit repair companies and credit gurus that are selling you these dispute letters. Some call it 609 letters, some call it 611 dispute letters. Some sell you dispute bundles where there's a whole bunch of letters for different scenarios. You basically download those letters in a Word document. You put in your information and you send them out to the major 3 credit bureaus. The pros are they are still effective. Remember, under FCRA, we have the right to not only access our credit reports and actually see what are these credit furnishers reporting to our credit reports. We have the right to see that. And if anything is not accurate, if they are reporting things that are inaccurate to our credit reports that we know for a fact is harming our ability to get funding, to get credit, we have the right to challenge that. We have the right to dispute that. That's what these letters do. Now, the good thing about these letters is they're pretty inexpensive. You can download and buy some of these letters for $20, $50, $30. I sell mine in my course for a couple $100. So now if everyone is downloading the same letters and they're sending it out to the bureaus, these type of letters over time, they get less effective. This is a reason why we've been seeing a lot more stall tactics letters. And that stall letter comes back, which is basically like this auto-generated response that basically says, hey, we think you're working with a credit repair company. In order to solve this issue, you need to go onto our website and log in and blase, 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 right? It's basically a stall tactic letter. If you're sending the same letters that tens of thousands of other people are sending, it's a red flag to the credit bureau, and nothing really is going to happen for the next 35 to 40 days. And then you're going to have to send out another letter. And you're going to have to know, if you're doing this by yourself, what letters to send, in what order. And most of the people that are selling you these cookie cutter dispute letters, they're not going into all the fine nuances and the details and what to do in the situation. They're just selling you a letter and then you hope for the best. That's not the most effective way of getting derogatory items removed off of your credit reports. It's just not. But it is cheap. It's pretty inexpensive. So that's option one. Option number two is you pay a credit repair company to do this on your behalf. But if you pay a credit repair company, you're paying about, on average, between $100 and $300 a month. And you're paying someone to basically pull your credit reports, generate the letters, send out the disputes on your behalf, and you don't have to do anything. You kind of just sit back. But there was a CFPB crackdown, and the biggest culprit that got the credit repair industry in trouble was Lexington Law. Lexington Law is probably the biggest, most reputable, most known brand in the credit repair industry. And they were ordered by CFPB to pay back $2.7 billion with a B because of participating in illegal practices. But just so you know, technically speaking, no credit repair company should be charging you $200, $300, whatever, every single month. They're not allowed to do that anymore. technically speaking, a credit repair company is not allowed to charge you until 6 months after they delivered the final deliverable, which in this case, the deliverable would be a clean or disputed credit profile. But what happens is consumers like you're paying $200, $300 to these companies every single month, and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're just collecting the monthly fee, and you're getting maybe one or two things removed off your credit profile. Some people have been paying these companies for years, and they're spending thousands upon thousands of dollars. This is why you're seeing so much controversy in the credit repair industry. I have another video where I'll link somewhere above my head where I'm basically telling you what questions should you be asking this credit repair company, how to check their background, if they're licensed and bonded in your state, if they have insurance in your state. Otherwise, they're out of compliance. And technically speaking, they shouldn't even be a credit repair company. There are legit credit repair companies right now that I know for a fact want the best for their customers. I know that for a fact because I'm in the same groups with them. I'm on the same calls with them. But you got to navigate those waters. You got to understand who's who, who's doing what. And also in the near future, you don't know if these companies are still going to be even in existence. So that's option number 2. Option number 3, and this is what I'm going to be actually doing going forward. So again, I told you guys before, previously I had my own credit repair company. I take a step back. I work with people one-on-one, depending on the scenario. But because of all the changes, because of Lexington law getting cracked on by the CFPB, but now I'm coming at this with a different approach. This software is pretty much going to do 90% of the heavy lifting. And what I mean by the 90% is how to figure out what letters to send out to the credit bureaus, as well as the data furnishers, as well as the secondary bureaus. And I'm going to show you guys all of this in a second. With this software, it takes the information that is on your credit profile and it customizes the verbiage so that it actually fits your situation. So you're not going to run into the same problem of, okay, I bought a generic 609 letter from somebody and I'm going to send out the same letter that tens of thousands of other people have been sending. And I'm just going to cross my fingers to hope that, something good comes out of this. This software is literally customizing the letters based off of what's on your credit profile. As long as you have the credit monitoring service active and linked to the software is going to be able to pull that information. And with literally one click of a button, all the letters that you need to send out to all of the bureaus and secondary bureaus is going to be done for you. And at that point, you just print and you send it out. And then that's it. This right here is what I'm actually converting a lot of my previous clients who still need work done. We're slowly bringing them over to the software here. It's more cost effective. With this software, you're just spending $50 a month and you're getting access to all of the software that's going to give you every single letter that you need. And I can tell you these letters are just as good as what I was sending out for my clients when I was doing them manually. So the software that I'm recommending right now is Dispute Beast. So you can get access to this by going to moneycodes.com/dispute-beast. It's going to be in the description of this video. Trust me, you're going to be seeing me use this software. I'm going to do demos. We're going to have Facebook trainings. Matter of fact, I'm going to have the owner of Dispute Beast, who I know personally. I'm going to have him on the channel probably next week, hopefully. At some point this month, you're going to see him. And we're going to have an opportunity to even get into more of the details instead of trying to do it manually, instead of trying to memorize FCRA verbiage and pretend like you're an attorney and put that attorney lingo into the letters and send them out. You don't really know what you're sending and you're getting stall letters and you're just sending the same letters out again, crossing your fingers, right? We've been doing that for years, guys. We know what the results are. Some people get a couple of things off, but that's not the most effective way to do it. This is the software to do it. So go down in the comments, sign up. Once you get to this page, all you got to do is click the upper right-hand corner button where it says Get Started. Once you get to the next page, you see that you're going to be greeted here with basically 2 options. You need to create your Dispute Beast account, and you have to have a Beast credit monitoring account in order to use Dispute Beast. In order to get that Beast credit monitoring, that does cost $49.99 per month. Now, again, $49.99 is going to include everything. It's going to include the monitoring service that is the requirement, and that monitoring service is going to allow you to use the Dispute Beast account. Once you click start, you put in your information, you create your account. Now, when you're doing the registration process, you want to make sure that the first name, the last name, the email address, the information that you're putting at the time of registration, you want to make sure that it's the same information that is on your ID, that's on your driver's license. Everything must be consistent. If you're using different spelling variations, if you're using your maiden name on one and your married name on another, you're going to cause yourself problems, and that's going to give the credit bureaus a reason to basically stall you. Everything needs to be consistent at the time of registration. The same goes with the last four of your social as well as your address. It needs to match your identification. Once you get to this page, make sure to sign up for Beast Credit Monitoring. If you have something like a Smart Credit or an Identity IQ, things of that nature, at this point, once you have your Beast Credit Monitoring, you don't need those credit monitoring services anymore. So at this point, go ahead and sign up for the Beast Credit Monitoring. That way you can sync it to your Dispute Beast account. This is the only way that Dispute Beast is going to be able to automatically import all of your information from the credit bureaus, because this won't work with a Smart Credit. This won't work with an Identity IQ. So we sign up for the Beast Credit Monitoring. That way it's going to automatically put all of our information, all of our accounts, all of our negatives, all of our inquiries, right? Everything that we want to have challenged, it needs to come from Beast Credit Monitoring first. We're just going to import it into Dispute Beast. And then all we got to do at that point when we're synced up is press that one button. Then we're going to see all the letters that it's going to generate for us. All of the information that we put into the Dispute Beast account is going to be automatically put into the Beast Credit Monitoring. All of your information, the name, the spelling, everything must be consistent across all the platforms. This is how we're going to pull your information from the credit bureaus. And that's also the same information that's going to be sent to the credit bureaus when we start doing our dispute letters. Now, as a quick tip, you want to make sure that the username and password that you're using for your Beast Credit Monitoring is the same that you use for Dispute Beast, right? Just keep it simple, keep them consistent. Once you're signed up for Beast Credit Monitoring, we go back to this page here, which should look familiar, where we're on Dispute Beast, and now we're connecting our Beast Credit Monitoring over to our Dispute Beast. Yes, I have an account already, and then you're just going to put in your Beast Credit Monitoring credentials. Now, if you did everything right up until this point, what Dispute Beast is doing right now is it's connected to Beast Credit Monitoring and is pulling all of your information from the credit bureaus. All the information that we normally would have to manually look at. Let's say if we go to annualcreditreport.com, which I showed you in the previous video, instead of having to download that credit report and manually going through, which was the old school traditional way, downloading your credit reports from annualcreditreport.com, getting a highlighter and highlighting certain things that you don't recognize, and doing that for page after page after page for each credit bureau is time consuming. What Dispute Beast is doing now is it's automatically retrieving the information from Beast Credit Monitoring, and it's going to easily put it right on your dashboard in Dispute Beast. Now on the next screen, we're going to hit the blue button that says Get Started. This is where you upload a screenshot of your driver's license. So here's a screenshot of what the credit bureaus typically would accept. Ideally, I always recommend get a license and get a utility bill. Ideally, a utility bill within the last maybe 1 month or 2 months. Do not send over a utility bill from 2.5 years ago. Keep everything current, because I guarantee you the credit bureaus, they will find any way to basically stall you in the process. Now, once you uploaded your ID and your utility bill, this is what you're going to see now. Now you're going to be inside of Dispute Beast. Now you see here, Dispute Beast was able to now import from Beast Credit Monitoring all of the information from TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Now we see the negative items. We see our public records and we see our inquiries. Now, again, this is why I tell you this is a lot easier than going to Annual Credit Report, which I still teach you guys how to do that because it's your right to have it. So you should know how to access your credit report. But this right here is going to be the easy way to do the whole process with the click of a button. The software is going to do 90% of the thinking for you. So for simplicity's sake, all I want you to pay attention to right now is this blue button right here in the middle of the screen, which says Start Attack. We're going to click that blue button. Once you click that blue button, you're going to see the next screen where it's going to show you the accounts that are negative. And it's automatically going to highlight the accounts that you want to attack. Now, this software allows you to be able to select any of the hard inquiries that you currently have on your credit profile. Now, anytime you try to dispute any of your hard inquiries, you're going to see a pop-up. This is basically a warning, and you have to do this every single time. If you try to dispute an inquiry that's associated with an open account, so let's say, for example, you have a Navy Federal More Rewards card. You apply for the Navy Federal More Rewards card. You got the card. You use the card. You're spending it, paying off your bills, spending it. But you realize, wait a second, I'm starting to get a lot of inquiries. And I learned on Money Codes that if I have a lot of inquiries, the next time I try to apply for a credit card, I may get denied. Even if I have a good 3-digit FICO score, too many inquiries is going to negatively impact me. Oh man, you know what I'm going to do? Even though I have this Navy Federal More Rewards card in my hand and I'm loving it and I'm using it, let me go back into my inquiries and remove the inquiry. That way I can trick the next bank into thinking that I don't have as many inquiries that I really do actually have. You don't want to do that, because if you do that, that may trigger something with Navy Federal or whatever bank you're trying to do this with into thinking that it was possibly fraud, and they may actually close down that account. There are some advanced techniques to do this when you have, let's say, a business credit card that's not reporting onto your personal credit reports, and you want to possibly remove the inquiry, but that's something that we're probably going to save to like our private Facebook group. For 99% of y'all, be very careful when it comes to inquiries. Do not try to remove inquiries that are associated and attached to personal accounts that are reporting to your personal credit reports. Behind where my face is on this YouTube video is a button that says Start Attack. When you click that button, you want to get to the next page. Now this AI software is now going to analyze all of the data that came from Beast Credit Monitoring. It's analyzing everything. It's analyzing your personal information. It's analyzing your positive accounts, the negative accounts, and it's going to come up with the unique verbiage for your situation. This right here is going to create something that is specifically crafted for you and your credit profile. We're not doing the cookie cutter stuff anymore. So now after clicking just a couple of buttons, now the system has created your TransUnion attack letters, your Experian attack letters, and your Equifax attack letters. The only thing that you have to do at this point is print these things out and mail them. That's it. Now, I know somebody's going to ask in the comments, why do I have to manually print them out? Why do I have to manually mail them out? One of the things that we have to remember is, the credit bureaus, they are adapting to basically the strategies that we've been using over the past several years. So would it make sense if I lived in California, for example, and I paid a credit repair company, and that credit repair company was located in South Carolina? If I'm in California and I pay a credit repair company in South Carolina, and then they mail out my letters for me in South Carolina, but I live in California, automatically the credit bureaus are going to think Joel is using a credit repair company. Boom. Now the likelihood of getting another stall tactic letter has just gone up. This right here is why I'm such a big fan of the software, what it's doing, how it's set up, because it's literally getting you all of the advantages of what a very good credit repair company would do, but it puts it in your hand. Now, if you work with me before, if you watch any of the YouTube videos I did when it comes to disputing, I talk about how the first letters that you always send out to the credit bureaus should be the personal information update letter, which makes sure that the credit bureaus, all they have on file when it comes to your name and your address is what you want them to have, and it's consistent with what's on your ID. All of this is being done for you inside of this software. This is why I said that the information that you're using to sign up with Dispute Beast also matches your identification, which is also going to match the information that we're going to send out to the credit bureaus. Without having to know all of the FCRA lingo and knowing all of the credit repair insider tricks, this just does it for you. It puts it on a platter, you print it out, and you send it out. Now, it's not going to show it in this example here, but if you did have public records that were, again, negatively impacting you, such as a bankruptcy, this system will go ahead and challenge that as well. Anything that is deemed negative on your credit profile, this software, it will target it, it will craft the verbiage around it, and it'll automatically put it in the letters for you, including things like bankruptcies. Not only is it going to give you the letters for the credit bureau, it's going to give you the letters to attack the specific creditors as well. As you can see here, Experian creditor 1, this is now going to the creditor. So now we're challenging the credit bureaus and how they're reporting, and we're challenging the creditors. All with one button, everything was created. And then lastly, we have our secondary bureaus. Now, this is why I say when you go to Facebook and you download somebody's $20 dispute letter package, those letters are crafted for Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. That's it. Sometimes you might get a debt validation letter that you can send out to the creditor. Sometimes you may not. I don't know who you bought it from. But I know 99% of the time, they're not providing you letters that you can use to send out to the secondary bureaus. Why? Because a lot of these people that are selling you these dispute letters, they're not even aware of the secondary bureaus. On this channel, we've talked about LexisNexis before. We've talked about Innovis before. I believe we talked about ARS before. I don't remember if it was on this one or if it was in a private group. But I know we touched on several of these before. And what I'm likely going to do in the future is probably do a video on this channel detailing who is LexisNexis, who is Innovis, what information of yours can be found on there. Is the information that can be found on this, can it impact your ability to open up accounts, to acquire loans and fundings and credit cards? The short answer is yes, but that's a whole different video for another time. But I just want you to understand that this software, not only is it going to attack the credit bureaus, not only is it going to attack the debt collection companies, it's also going after the secondary credit bureaus. Now you can download your letters from Dispute Beast. It's going to download it to your desktop. Now at that point, you can go ahead and print it out, send it out. When you're on the home page, you go to Attack Hub, and then you just need to mark, I've mailed these letters. You're not creating anything here. You're not pretending to be an attorney. You're not pretending to be anything but someone who knows how powerful this software is, and you're just clicking buttons. That's it. Once you've clicked, I've mailed these letters. Now when we look at the page, at the middle of the page, there's a blue button that used to say start your attack, but because we already started our attack and we mailed it out, now it says start your next round of attack 40 days until your next attack. As long as you have your Beast credit monitoring and you have your Dispute Beast, as long as it's active and you know how to click a few buttons and you know how to download and you know how to print, if you know how to do that, you basically are now your own credit repair company on steroids. This is the system that I'm going to be using going forward, right? We're still at the beginning of 2024. Going forward, I'm not going to be doing credit repair like I used to before. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to slowly start transitioning everybody over to Dispute Beast. I'm going to have the owner of this software come onto this channel and go even in more depth to answer more of your questions. So guys, anything that you saw in here right now that you don't fully understand, that you have questions about, that you have concerns about, go in the comments and ask your questions. That way I can have them ready for when I have Dominique on next week. Money Codes is here to provide you the education. Dispute Beast is here to now give you an easy way to take the information that you're learning here and to put it into action. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Again, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, let me know your thoughts. Make sure to subscribe and hit the alerts if you haven't done so already. And I'm going to check you guys out in the next video. All right? Peace.